today, the Air Native still has not been sold at retail. It can only be accessed through health promotion disease prevention programs. So those people have a very difficult job, have a tool called the Air Native that they can use to incentivize people to show up to their program and give them the proper foot and proper ride that they need to get them out and get them on the treadmills and get them out moving and get them walking. That product still exists today. It's out there. We're making iteration number 3 that's going to come out in the summer of 2016, and the 3rd iteration of the same shoe. But what happened is for that mark, so as I take you through that mark, the N stands for Native, and the 7 stands for 7 generations. And I'll tell you a little bit of when I left my community at age 19, my grandfather sent me down. He's actually my uncle, but my mother was 25 years younger than her brother, so he's kind of the gentleman who raised me. I was raised by a single mom. But as you look back 3 generations for guidance, direction, focus, the little husky kid sitting on my grandparents' lap. I was husky then, I'm still husky now, right? But I go look back 3 generations of my family. You think about how far removed from my great-grandfather, Thomas Duck, who was part of the original colonization of the Fort Peck Indian Reservation right there. And then 3 generations later, there's my mother, and then there's me. So that's really looking back 3 generations. So what he told me is, you look back 3 generations for guidance, direction, and focus. You learn from those generations that came before you. You take that wisdom and you apply it to yourself. Because you're in the middle, and you look forward to your generation to hopefully make a difference. Or create an impact, or create change, create positivity for the next generations that come after you. And as a 19-year-old kid, I think that's pretty heavy. That's some heavy words coming to a kid that's just trying to get the heck off the res, right? But when it made sense is when I started to create this. I was looking at what's the stories that my family told me, because we're storytellers. That's the story that my grandfather told me that I needed to connect to. So that's why the N for the room stands for Native, the 7 stands for 7 generations, and that's how it was interpreted to me. The beauty of that is 7 generations encompasses a lot of interpretations, but most importantly, it's a belief that we have as all Native people. We all believe in 7 generations. So as we look back, that's kind of what I just wanted to kind of touch on. That's what the logo means. And once we started kicking in that Air Native, I went to the company and said, what if we gave the profits back to make sure that it didn't look like we wanted to make sure that we were making sure that we were moving forward with inspiring movement in the community. And the company said, great, go find a nonprofit, and we'll donate all the proceeds from the Air Native. We'll donate all the proceeds back to a foundation that could then inspire kids to move. So as any good entrepreneur would do, I did my work. I couldn't find one that would work, so I created my own. I created a thing called the Donor Advised Board. And we donated the money, and I went and tapped a lot of my good friends on the shoulder. So if you go to our website, n7fund.com, and you look, my board of directors is made up of Native community, with 3 Nike employees. Two of those Nike employees are Native American. So we have a donor advised board. What I call my donor advised board are subject matter experts. They know how that money should be invested. So we started to invest the money, and I went to our CEO and I said, there's this thing going on at Nike. So going back to my coaching days, if somebody's running a play and he keep beat by it, you steal it, make it your own, so you can beat him by his own play. So I saw this thing called Live Strong that was happening at Nike. And it was really cool because there's so many people who were rallying around cancer, the color yellow. And I said, man, what if we created a connection? Because there's so many great stories in our community, around our Native community. What if we created great stories and put it on Nike product? And we sold that product at retail. And then the proceeds from that collection can go back to the fund. We can have more kids. And lo and behold, Mark Parker, our CEO, bless his heart, said, I believe in what you're talking about. Let's go do it. Fortunate that I got the opportunity, and that's when it jumped from access to sport to from access to the brand to access to sport. Because now we're really starting to move this brand inside sport. So we're talking about 2009 now. And then I tend to use this as a premise. Indigenous sports rooted in the heritage that continues to inspire participation today. And I would like to just touch on, you see some of our great athletes from the past, and you see some of our great athletes that are out there right right now, but in the corner there's a young lady. Her name is Janae Jumping Eagle. I'd love to share the story with you. So I was fortunate enough to sit with some of my good friends and colleagues here in December in Washington, D.C. when the president invited tribal leaders to come to Washington, and he also invited 40 kids. First time ever, President Obama invited 40 kids to come to Washington to be part of the Tribal Leaders Summit. And said, Sam, because you're so rooted in youth, I want you to sit with the youth. Best thing that's ever happened to me. Because I sat next to a young lady by the name of Janae Jumping Eagle. Janae's from Kyle, South Dakota. And on that ball right there it says, I wish all the sad kids in my community could feel like I do when I pick up this ball. So I just was inspired. They played a video for her called Generation I is Launched, right? The president's initiative called Generation I. And I don't know if you saw, but we made a pretty substantial financial commitment to Generation I because we're committed to our next generation. And so as I sit next to Janae and I gave her my card, I said, girl, you keep doing what you're doing. Just know that if you need something, N7's here for you. That's December. February, I get a phone call. It's Ryan Jumping Eagle. Ryan is Janae's dad. So when Ryan calls me, he said in his typical South Dakota res accent, Sam, it's Ryan. I know you don't know me, but we're going to need your help. I don't know who else to call. So immediately I put on my Montana res accent and I talked back to him. And we talked, and I said, what do you need my help for, Ryan? He said, we've already had 5 suicides since Janae was there. The sad kids are killing themselves. And I said, oh, man. So then we're talking about February. So by the time we were able to rally together and help put something together, Janae wanted to do a basketball tournament. And she wanted to have some suicide prevention people there, and she wanted to do this, but she wanted N7 product to be the inspiration to inspire the sad kids to participate. And so I agreed. No questions asked. We figured it out. We went. I sent one of my teammates to South Dakota. By the time we got there, we're talking 45 days from the first call from Ryan to the event. 17 kids committed suicide in Kyle, South Dakota. You know how many people live in Kyle, South Dakota? How many people live in Kyle, South Dakota? Let's start there. Right? How many people live in Kyle, South Dakota? Not many. And they go to high school, you think their high school's K through 12. They got 120 kids. Of those 120 kids, 17 of them chose to take their lives. Crazy. Crazy. Breaks my heart that our kids feel that way, that they choose, that there's not hope for them to live. So they choose to die. So for me, that's a call to action for me. So I want to share that story. So this is our call to action. As we look at these statistics, these are real life statistics, whether they directly face our kids or not. These are statistics that my team has dug up. And as you look at it, these are the areas of focus that we look to fund programs with N7 resources. We fund programs with N7 resources. So looking at the demographic, we're talking about 6 million people in North America that check the box to say Aboriginal, Native American, First Nations, Métis. We're talking North America. 2 million of them are kids under the age of 18. As we look at N7 from a brand truth perspective, so as we're diving into the business people, now I'm going to put my business hat on. Okay, take the passion hat off, put a business hat on. We got brand truths. For N7, sport is our passion. Sport. We want kids to play, know, and believe sport. Youth is our energy. The next generation to affect is right now. We have an opportunity right now. Considered is our innovation. So as you spoke about the earth and everything, all of our product is environmentally preferred product. I want to make sure that if it has an N7 logo, we've used minimal waste. We've taken it out. We're using non-toxics. We're using organic cotton t-shirts. We're making sure that the earth is #1 for us as we build our product. We are storytellers. I'm here to tell stories. I'm here to tell you my story. We're storytellers. We serve the 17 to 20-year-old athlete. We lead with product. Nike is about product. And I've had a fortunate opportunity that we can build some pretty cool product. And then we deliver the power of sport, we deliver the power of movement through sport. Here's the mission of my brand. Here's the mission of N7. So hopefully, if you leave with nothing else, you learned this today. The mission of N7 is to inspire movement for 2 million kids. That's what we want to do every single day. The vision is to enable participation in sports and physical activity by 2022. Our Just Do It tagline at N7 for our kids is move your generation. Move your generation. It can go to you, it can go to a kid, it's about moving your generation. That's what we want to do. And then we always stay grounded in who we are. And it reads in every deliberation, we must consider the impact of our decisions on the seventh generation. So we stay grounded.